That time of year again. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am a recovering alcoholic. I'm still sober, and I'm still enjoying each and every single day. This past weekend, when Joey and I were out, I shared with him, it's about 5 years ago to this past weekend, and I may be off just a little bit, but it's about that time where 5 years ago, my son's baseball coach is pulling me out of my truck because I'm passed out in my truck at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning while my son is taking the mound pitching what would become one of the better games that he's ever pitched. And I was about to miss it because of my alcoholism. And I remember when Chad pulled me out of my truck and we started walking back to the field that day, I knew something was wrong because I was about to miss my son pitching a baseball game. And there's nothing I enjoyed more than watching my kids do what they love. And I had the best conversation on that way back, making that walk back to the field. I had the absolute best conversation with myself. Although Chad was beside me the whole way, he even had his arm around me, kind of helping me back to that baseball field. I had the best conversation with myself. I had that dialogue. I began that dialogue again in my own head saying, Drew, something's wrong here. Something is not right. You just about missed your son's baseball game, all because you were passed out in your truck at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Something's not right here. And I remember the rest of that game, at least the rest of that time period at that game anyway, I was struggling. I was struggling with this thought. It's like, what is going on here? Is this alcohol thing has really gotten that bad to where I'm going to miss what my kids do, miss my kids doing what they absolutely love the most. I was going to miss that. And it was really the starting point, the turning point really for me in my own personal journey. Now, granted, that was about mid-June of 2021. It was still another couple weeks. It wasn't until July the 5th, 2021, that I actually took my last drink. It took me roughly 3 weeks after I began that internal dialogue, that internal conversation with myself, going, hey, Drew, you know what? There's a problem here. And I see that a lot. I will talk to alcoholics who are still actively drinking, and I see myself through them. I see them making the same arguments that I made. Oh, no, I can do this. I've got control. I don't need a support group. I've got willpower. I've got self-discipline. It's a management problem. I made those same arguments myself. But ironically, like I said, for me, looking back 5 years ago, I had forgotten to have that internal dialogue with myself. I'd forgotten that I stopped talking to myself, basically. And it wasn't until I made that trip back, walking back over to the ball field, and Chad beside me, and I had the best conversation because that's when I became aware that something was truly wrong. And I started asking myself honest questions. And I started answering myself honestly, answering those honest questions honestly. And I became aware, you know what? Something is definitely wrong. I'm going to have to make a change. I didn't want to miss my kid, playing baseball. I didn't want to miss, my daughter's dance recitals. I didn't want to miss the things that God was trying to give me as blessings in my life, and yet I was missing them. It took me, like I said, another 3 weeks roughly before I finally decided to commit and pull the trigger and get myself clean and sober. I'm glad I did. I wish I wouldn't have waited those 3 extra weeks. But I do remember in that period, coming to the realization, I'm going to have to get honest with myself and with other people. And I remember, I'd go to bed at night, and my wife at the time, she would ask me, hey, were you drinking? And I would immediately respond, yeah, I've been drinking. And, and I remember what a load that took off my shoulders. Just that simple act of being honest. Yes, I've been drinking. It took such a weight off my shoulders. And again, that 3 week period, starting roughly this past weekend, it was such a telltale moment for me in my own personal story, such a turning point that ultimately led me to July the 5th of 2021, around 11:15 p.m., whenever I took my last drink. And I heard something in the rooms from a gentleman that I highly respect. He told me, he said, if you don't know when you had your last drink, that means you probably haven't had it. And so I thank God I'm very aware, and I can absolutely pinpoint when I had my last drink, because I hope from that day forward, I'll never will take a drink again. I will say this, I know I never have to take a drink again. I know I never have to wake up and look for that bottle. I'm recovered. I'm still an alcoholic. I still think alcoholically in a lot of ways, but nowadays it's no longer about the alcohol. It's usually about like running or something stupid like that. But I just thank God that I started that dialogue and that conversation with myself, by myself. Even though I had Chad right here beside me, I had that dialogue and that conversation going on in my own head. And that's ultimately what allowed me to round that corner, so to speak, to start on myself down that road to recovery. I want to encourage you, start asking yourself those honest questions and answering those honest questions honestly within your own heart, within your own soul. And hopefully that will help propel you to finally making that decision to start your own personal recovery journey. With that being said, I'm out of time. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to have discussed, feel free to send it in on Facebook Messenger to us at the Recovery Classroom. Also, if you like the video content of these morning monologues on the Recovery Classroom, feel free to like and share on your own Facebook page and all of your other social media channels. We'll be talking again soon, guys. Remember, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.